Let's move now to Edenvale on Gauteng's East Rand. It's come to light that about 70 security guards are living in squalor, camping outside the Edenvale hospital that they're meant to be guarding. They've been sleeping in tents for the past 3 weeks. They say they haven't been paid for 3 months by the private company that was contracted by the Gauteng Health Department. The Gauteng Health Department is now trying to evict them from the hospital premises and is even taking them to court. eNCA reporter Silindelo Masikane joins us. See, this is astonishing. I know that you've spoken to a representative from the union who's trying to help these over 70 security guards outside the hospital. What are they telling you?
It's quite a desperate situation outside of the Edenvale hospital. Sally, I heard in your intro saying that they were on the premises, but they're actually opposite the hospital in an open veldt of some sort. And what the Gauteng Health Department has done is has taken them to court, and in fact gotten a court order that they shouldn't get onto the premises of the Edenvale hospital. Now, this matter dates back to last year around August. The workers say this is the last time they actually received payment from their employer, and their employer is actually contracted to give security services to the Edenvale hospital in particular, of course, under the Gauteng Health Department. Many of those who I spoke to have actually been with this company called Jack Cliff Trading for about 7 years, some 4 years. So it seems that this particular company has been around for some time. But they say all of a sudden, one day, they were told by hospital staff as well as the security manager that they no longer had jobs, and that the security company, their employer, had terminated the contract with the hospital. And so these security guards are now represented by the union called SACSAU. And what SACSAU has been trying to do over the past couple of months is, of course, try to get these workers their salaries, but nothing's happening. In fact, what they told me is that the actual employer, Jack, stories are quite heartbreaking, Sally, in terms of what they're going through, in terms of why they've basically stripped themselves of their dignity to camp outside of the hospital, saying that they can't return home to, some of them are from as far as Venda, saying that they can't go back home without money. Many of them have actually been evicted from the places where they're renting in Alexandra because they can no longer afford rent, and they basically don't have a cent to their name, and camping outside of the hospital to get anyone's attention to try and help them is their last resort. Some of them have their children there with them. Today, in fact, study marks 24 days since they've begun camping outside of Edenvale Hospital. They're being helped by food parcels by some staff from inside the hospital, people driving past the hospital. They bathe in the bushes. They sleep on these very makeshift mattresses in this one tent. They cook outside. There's a toilet that's been donated for them to be able to use, to be able to relieve themselves. So I don't think anybody can imagine just how horrible those conditions are. In fact, I describe them as human rights abuses. But let's just take a listen to the security guards themselves.
Bayasibuza abantu ukuthi reason why nihleli eEdenvale hospital, reason ukuthi nje sisebenze eEdenvale hospital, le mali le esidemandayo imali esirendere iservice khona la eEdenvale hospital. And then mina as umsebenzi, I don't think ukuthi irresponsibility yami ukuhamba ngiyofunana nomqashi, because i-Department of Health yona le ingitshele straight, mina ngiyile ngiyokhuluma nabo le department, bangitshela straight ukuthi bona bane relationship nalo mqashi lo. So bona ngoba bane relationship naye umqashi and yibo abamnikele leyo tender leyo, thina we think ukuthi yibo aba responsible ukuthi bayomfuna.
Lento basiyenzile la bantu basithakhathile impilo zethu. We are suffering, more than suffering. Sibile sayitsola ukuthi sibile sasebenzelani lapha kahle kahle. Ngoba kwakuzoba ngcono maybe sasafara singasebenzanga. Sazoba sithola bona lo 350 yasa Ramaphosa. Nayo yasihlula manje, that means thina empilweni zethu asathola lutho ethola. Ungathi sibuya ngaphandle, we are the son of soil. Sivotile le government ihleleyo lapha. Isihlukumeza okanje.
This is a very desperate situation. We know that outsourcing can be problematic, but this company, Jack Cliff Trading, as you say, cannot get hold of them at all. They seem to have disappeared, very possibly with some month's salary for those workers that they then, of course, sent to the hospital. But surely the health department in Gauteng has to bear some responsibility. It's surely not all at the door of this company, which, you know, by all accounts, seem to have just disappeared into thin air. What is the health department saying?
I mean, I literally got a statement that was about 3 sentences, basically saying that as far as the Gauteng Health Department is concerned, these workers need to take up their grievances, and I'm quoting them, with the relevant authorities, because their relationship, of course, was with this Jack Cliff Trading Company. But it does bring into question, Sally, the issues around insourcing, the issues around, you know, the responsibility that the department has to vet these companies that they're contracting to get these services rendered. And what one of the workers was saying, if you heard in that other clip, that she doesn't feel that it's her responsibility, because the health department keeps saying, we don't have a relationship with you as the employees. Our relationship is with the company that we contracted. And if that's the case, then why isn't it the health department trying in at least some way to assist these workers that are literally camped outside of your facility, a facility that they rendered services to? So I think it does bring up a lot of questions, and somebody needs to answer. Who that's going to be remains to be seen, and who's going to assist these workers remains to be seen.
Thanks so much for bringing the story to our attention. That's our reporter, Silindelo Masikane.